partner of Odoo with 4 locations around the world. I'm going to try to speak very fast because a lot of time was lost. So the story is about this NGO who had to deal with the pandemic, and we provided a solution for them using Odoo. So first thing, who's that organization? It's a over 60 years old organization that's basically a religious institution, a full-time school, a weekend school, and provides educational program and social and community services. And it's located in London, Ontario, Canada. Okay, and I'm gonna I'm gonna play the video, which is gonna describe the whole story of why they went, why we used Odoo as a solution for them. What was the problem?
2020 came around. COVID was in full swing. Lockdowns were happening, and here at the London Muslim Mosque, with the lockdowns coming into effect, it was a huge issue for us.
The mosque is a non-profit, is a charity, and is a worship place. So it depends on donation for a big part of its funding.
Our ability to fundraise is really hampered when we can't have our congregants in the site. And that meant no fundraising at daily prayers, especially Friday prayers, where we really raise a lot of our funds to operate. Just coming up around the corner was the holy month of Ramadan. Now, that's a time of year for Muslims to be, in addition to fasting, to be generous and giving. And that's when we fundraise a lot of funds, not just for our daily operations, but also for projects that we have coming up. And that year we had just purchased an addition, a property to expand our Islamic school, and we had to raise funds for that project. I remember Ihab Bakir calling me up and saying, hey, you know, what's going on? What's the situation with the lockdowns? And at that point in time, it was really early. And for us, we were just focused on how do we reduce our expenses? What bills can we cut? How can we kind of limit what we're going to be paying? And we hadn't even made up a plan yet for how we were going to fundraise money to get through that time. I said, hey, you know, how about we use the website that we have to help fundraise money, because that was, you know, our ability to raise money during the month with nobody here was really taken away from us. After a few meetings with the board, we had agreed to go ahead and update our site and use the Odoo platform, and came up with the Better Together campaign. And through the platform that his team was able to put together and roll out just in time for Ramadan, it allowed all of our congregants to donate like they would normally donate. They could go in there and pay their zakat. They could donate during the last 10 days of Ramadan. It was something that we had never done before. And using the platform, we were surprised at how engaged our community was, how much we were actually able to fundraise in this situation that we had never been in before.
It became a lifesaver for us. Rather than people just come here and donate cash, they're now conveniently from their own homes. They can just donate through Odoo. And then there is different ways you can actually donate. Rather than just on one time, you can actually donate for a cause. And there's an option for you to do recurring payments. Okay, that's a difference, because now when people just come here, they just donate, and then it's the next time they come here. Now, there's some regular donations coming in through Odoo. During these events, Odoo even allowed us to do auction where people can go and bid on items. What I like about Odoo system, it's versatility. You can adapt it to different uses. You don't have to just use it as it is. You can actually customize it to your need. The registration for the people who come to the mosque for prayer, when a ticket that they can scan at the door, rather than checking names, we can just easily scan these tickets as people come in. That solved a huge part of the operation that were taking place at the mosque at the time. And also you could control the number, because the capacity was limited to 30%, so you can only fit so many people. What I like about the ITSS team is they're very approachable. If there is any issue we run into, we can call and they give attention to the issue we're dealing with on the spot, and the solution is provided in a very timely manner. They understand the nature of our business. All in all, our donations skyrocketed.
At the end of the month, we ended up raising a lot more than what we expected, and the whole turn of events, we were really surprised, and we were impressed with what we were able to do with that platform.
So I'm gonna basically cut the time in half and gonna go through things extremely fast. So, we saw basically, this is a summary of what happened, okay? And basically when the lockdown happened, everything stopped. And at the same time the lockdown started, it was only a few weeks before the holy month of Ramadan. And for them, the holy month of Ramadan is when they raise about 50% of the yearly donations. Comes in within these 30 days, and actually most of it is within 10 days of that month. So at that, on 2020, the risk was about the need was $800,000 that basically was not going to be raised at all. So there was a project that they had to raise $350,000 for that year on it. There is other donation for redistribution that normally comes into about $150,000, and there's $350,000 that gets raised during the weekly Friday ceremony. Like people after they come in, they leave the prayer, they donate money, and they also purchase food that generates about $175,000. That's used for the operation. So without that money, they basically, the operation might have no. This one I'm gonna talk about. I'm not gonna talk too much about it. The event app was used also for when they allowed limited capacity service back. So we had to customize it a little bit to meet their need. Okay, and so I'm gonna describe it quickly what we did. So we basically used the e-commerce and the subscription application. We customized it for donation, and we combined the subscription with the sales, basically the regular sales. So it's basically when you donate for one item, you have a choice of one time or a recurring payment at the same time. Okay, and then they moved their email list into the Odoo email marketing to basically launch the campaign for the month of Ramadan. And it has thousands and thousands of people who attend the organization. This is the third revision of what the homepage looks like. It has a progress bar for the main project that they fundraise for. And this is basically your typical product shop page. Now it's a donation page instead of so donation items became your products became donation items. And these are just two views of the customized views. So one that gives you option, one time or subscription combined together. And the other one is for straightforward donation with, buttons for preset amounts to make it easier for the user. So the main objective was not to make it fancy, just to make it very practical and easy, so people will, find an ease to use it. The event app was used very heavily, but for the sake of time, I'm not going to talk too much about it, except it was basically also a lifesaver for when limited capacity had to come in and use the services, especially the Friday prayer. And it basically, there was also a health regulation for contact tracing. So the health authority needed a list of people who attended, just in case there was an infection. They can tell people to go and basically tell them that they have to go get tested. We remember 2020 what happened. So that was a lifesaver for them. Okay, and even for when they allowed regular daily prayer for people who come in daily, we just treated them like an employee, gave them a badge, and they can scan in. They know who came in on which service. So what happened during the month when we started? So we were ready. We prepared the whole system, customized it in 1 week. So we launched on the first day. The first 2 days, there were some bugs. We fixed them. And this is basically the donation curve during the month. Okay, so adoption was much better. Community perceived it very well. It was the only way. Okay, usually they go there, there's an event, there's a fundraising dinner, there's none. It was all held virtually, and during 12-hour period of what's called the Night of Power, there was about $90,000 donated within 12 hours. And it were all small amounts. It was coming in pretty much 2 donations. It was taken 2 donations, 1 donation per 2 seconds at some point. Okay, so the system was performed extremely well at that time. 2020 was version 13. Okay, there was also, because there was a push for recurring donation, by the end of the month, in 30 days, there was $15,000 committed for recurring payment every month. Okay, so within the first 12 months, there's the 380 plus the 180 recurring. So they were short within the first 12 months. They were just shy of 600,000 in total, and they still got some money directly sent checks or whatever to the organization. Okay, the second year, upgraded to version 14. The campaign was a little bit different. There was a push because the second payment on the project was due. They needed bigger amount upfront. So there's no emphasis in their marketing on the recurring. So the number of donations were very similar, only 10% higher, but the amounts were 65% higher. So they raised 450 directly, plus there was another 80,000 coming in through recurring payment for the year. Okay, and then for the total for the second 12 months was roughly, with the recurring payment, a little over 700,000 plus another 200,000 that went directly to the mosque. So they again exceeded expectations. After the restrictions, so everything is done. Expectation was, we're talking the last 6 months. Okay, so lockdowns is over, restrictions are over, everything is almost back to normal. Expectation was online is going to go down. It did not. If you can see the number in 6 months was very close to what they raised in 12 months the year before. So they had a fundraising dinner this year, 2022, and this is to date, 2.2 plus. There's expected another 100,000 from recurring, so 2.3 is expected in recurring, and expectation by the end of the 36 months, 3-year celebration of using Odoo, there will be about $2.7 million raised online. Okay, and that's not only that, direct in the office donation and giving came back, not at the same amount. A lot of people find it easy online, but combined together, they're now the donation collection is much higher than way before the pandemic. And so pretty much, and actually they still continue to use the system with more features. So now for when they're promoting an event, etc., they still use the event. During this last Ramadan, it was a regular event with over 1,000 people attending the dinner. And to make it easy for people to give during the dinner, we had this, the one you see on the left, on their table. It's a shortcut to the donation screen. So instead of having to stand in line and give somebody the money, again, you still do it online while you're sitting and enjoying your dinner. And we had other things. We did also customized tax receipt that meets the Canada Revenue Agency requirements that gets issued automatically from Odoo and gets emailed to the people for their tax filing. Even the food sales during Friday, people still, we had this one, people can still go, if they don't want to stand in line and buy their food for lunch on Friday, they order the night before, and they come in and they find a bag with their name on it, and they just pick it up and go. So the use of Odoo keeps going up, and we're actually talking to them right now. We're going to do accounting and POS to improve their operation. They're also moving their membership application to the platform. So how are we doing with time? I guess time is over. I just wanted to say, normally you get your typical ERP customer who wants a supply chain, blah, 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 etc. And there is a customer that some partners would see, which is basically someone with a problem. And this fits very well. This is actually my favorite customer, is the one with the problem. And the nice thing is, you can, whatever problem they have, you can always think of it and find a solution in Odoo. And whenever you're dealing with a customer like that, don't try to convince them to go with, oh yeah, let's do ARP, and you're gonna benefit from it this way, and you start with, like, no. Try to fix their problem first. Just focus on the problem, and fix the problem, find the shortest way to get the best return on investment for that problem, and then go try to do some enhancement to improve that, the return on investment. And then after that, you can talk to them about improving operation by implementing the rest of the ERP, which is exactly what happened here. So that's it. I basically did the whole thing in less than 15 minutes, and I had 20 minutes prepared for it, okay? Any quick question before I get kicked out? No? Okay, that's it.